Okay, so we're on Mem Ches Amud Beis. So we said we're talking about all the Nisuch Hamayim, the whole what we call the simple space of Sheva. So putting the water, so they took the water and the wine and they poured it onto the Mizbeach, and there were two.
You will see her and embarrassing.
There were two. How do you say it? Two bowls that they poured it into, plates, bowls. One had the wine, one had the water. So then they said you have to lift up. The kohen has to lift up his hands, and when he's pouring, so that the olim could see that he's not pouring it on his feet, because that's what a tzedaka once did. So so he poured the water on his feet, and everybody hit him with their esrogim. They threw us and go, nifkama keren mizbeach from all the esrogim, right? Which Rashi actually says they also threw stones. See the Rashi, the second line says nifkama. An esrog is not going to ruin an esrog is not going to bust up the corner of the mizbeach. So Rashi says because they also threw stones. They didn't just throw esrogim. See, there's a makar for throwing stones in Yerushalayim from way back, right? So the stones damaged the mizbeach. The corner of the mizbeach got broken. And then they took like a handful of salt, and they sort of like stuffed up the damage to make it. They did cosmetic work. They did cosmetic work on the mizbeach to make it damaged.
I like how they're not worried about what happened to the tzedaka.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, what happened to the tzedaka?
So he's injured, but they're worried about the little hole in his mouth.
Well, we don't know. Maybe they missed him. Yeah.
Oh,
but it's a far throw. That Mizbeach was no small thing, and the kevish was 32 arm. You have to have a decent arm to really.
I mean, if they were hitting him, they weren't hitting the Mizbeach.
Correct. Imagine it was like an off-roof. Most of the shots don't hit the target. Some do, but most don't. No.
Well, why did anything get anywhere near the Mizbeach? Where did this happen? By the Shiluach, no?
No, what do you mean? It happened on the Mizbeach.
They let it go up the Mizbeach and pour it. What did they think was going to happen?
I think they didn't know. They didn't know he was a tzedaka. They didn't know he was a tzedaka. He was probably a secret tzedaka. Or anyways, by his sheni, it was totally out of control.
He was a very good-looking kohen like Aaron, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was making a tzedaka point. Why would he have gone up the Mizbeach?
What is your question?
No, they didn't know. Maybe he was doing it. He was a secret tzedaka. He was a secret tzedaka, right?
Yeah.
And
now he chose to make a point.
Correct.
And he chose to go up the Mizbeach to make the. Okay, I guess.
Yeah, then they didn't know, and then they saw what he did, so then they beat him down. Right? Anyway, so this point, I had a hard time understanding this. Not because it was hard, just because I just didn't get it. And they brought this thing of garlic, and they did some cosmetic work. Not because that will make it kosher for the avodah, right? So that the mizbeach shouldn't look bad. So whatever I thought, but what it means is that really the Gemara is saying it's seemingly pointless. This will not make the mizbeach kosher. They damaged the mizbeach. They made the mizbeach puzzle. That's why Rashi points out with the rocks. And esrog probably will not be hard enough to make the mizbeach puzzle, right? But they busted it up and with the rocks, and they made cosmetic work, not because it's going to make it kosher. It's going to still be puzzle because the mizbeach has to be perfect. But they just didn't want it to make it look bad, so they took it and they fixed it, right? So that's because we go on talking about Aleph. Now, mizbeach she'ein lo kevesh v'lo keren. Any mizbeach that doesn't have a ramp and doesn't have a keren, the corners, the horns, meaning the parts on each of the four corners that sticks up. Below your side, and it doesn't have the base. Below ribua, and it's not square. Pasal avoid, it's pasal avoid, right? Even the thing that goes around, right? We said last week that the Mizbeach was sort of built in portions. The bottom was wider, that's the base. Then it got a little thinner, right? That's what we learned, I think it was Friday, with that the Aravas leaned against the Mizbeach. So, yeah. So
I mean, what's worse, parceling the Mizbeach or letting the Stuki do the wrong avoda? I mean, they pelted him that they made the Mizbeach puzzle.
I don't think they did that on purpose. No.
I mean, okay, so they did it by accident. They still did it. They still throwing things in the area of the Mizbeach.
True. But yeah, listen, I don't know if you think this was, it doesn't say that the rabbis were pro or anti this.
It's brought down at the bottom from the Ben Yehoyah that the person who threw it did so inconspicuously because it was against what the Rabbanim would want them to do or wanted them to do.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Yes.
Interesting.
Same as
So then I would think that guy would get a
today.
beat down also.
And they bring down that's why it doesn't say the stones were thrown because that was against what the Rabbanim wanted. It only says the Esrogim were thrown.
Interesting. I hear.
Did they not bring the carbon Talmud that day?
I don't know what they did. I don't know. You're right. What did they do with the?
Presumably they fixed it.
Right.
Why wouldn't they have fixed it immediately? What was the point of the salt?
I don't know.
They had to beat out the copper again. So what did they get?
Maybe they didn't. Maybe it was a temporary fix till the carbon Talmud shall be in Arbayim. I guess.
Right? If they have to fix it anyway, just bring a hammer.
But they didn't want it to look pogum on Yom Tiv, so they fixed it a temporary thing, and then they did a temporary filling, as they said, right? And then
it's not kosher anyways. That day they still had to fix it.
Just outs the look.
And then they had to remove the salt to beat it back out, to beat the copper back out.
That's what I'm assuming.
So why didn't they just bring a hammer now? They didn't gain anything.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so let's divide. Shisin. So the shisin, what the shisin are where he poured it into the plates or the bowls, and then from there were tubes that led down to the bottom of his vase. So those were called shisin. So the shisin, misheshis yimei bereshis nivru. Those shisin were created from the beginning of time. Shenemar, as it says, we got a lot of psukim here. Chamuke yireichayach k'may chaloim ma'asidei oman. Yeah, your chamuke yireichayach. The chamuke means the word hidden. The yerech is the thighs. They're hidden. They're like chaloim is jewelry, right? Which is ma'asidei oman, the ma'isa of somebody who, like a worker, like a craftsman, right? Chamuke yireichayach elu hashisin. The Yerechayach are the shisin, k'moy chaloim shemuchulolim v'yarden at the time. The same thing as chaloim, which means jewelry, which go all the way down to the bottom of the world. Mamish, these shisin lead from the Mizbeach all the way down to the middle of the world. Ma'asidei Amon, so Ma'asidei Manaseh Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the Ma'aseh Umanus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Meaning Hashem is the one that was the worker here that made these shisin. It wasn't created by humans.
I thought these went into didn't these pour out into like a river or something?
That was the blood and all the everything else. This
is separate?
Yeah, this is a separate thing. Which we'll see that there's those that disagree with this. So let's invite. The Tana Devar Rabbi Shmuel Bereshis, right? It says Bereshis, Al Tikri Bereshis, Ella Bara Shis. Right? It says it created Shis, the Shisin. Right, so that's another proof that the shisin were from Bereshis. Yeah, Tanya Rabbi Yossi Aimer, shisin mechulalan v'yarden atahim. The shisin had a hole, meaning they were open, they were hollow, as they call it, and they went till the time. Shenemar, how do we know? Ashirana li didi shiras daidi lekarma. I'm gonna sing to the person that I love a song going to the vineyard. Kerem. There was a vineyard to my friend in a corner that was very fatty, right? Which Rashi says Eretz Yisrael is the fattest of the lands. Right? And he went around it, right? And he put a fence around it, and then he took all the stones away. Cyrek, and then he planted Cyrek, then Nitas Cyrek is the plant. They're real. I don't know exactly what type of thing it is that he planted, but even Migdal B'Seich, and then he built a tower in it. V'yam Yekev Chotzabai, and he even made a place to squeeze wine over there. So now, what do we dash from this pasuk? And he planted these shoots. That's what it's called. That's the Beis Hamikdash. But even Migdal B'Seichai, and he built a Migdal in there. It's a Mizbeach. That's Mizbeach. V'gam Yekev Chatzabai, and he also made like a wine press there or a wine vat. Elu shisin. That's referring to the shisin. So now that's a third source for how we know that the shisin, again, these two pipes, I guess, pipes, right? That's what it is. Two pipes that went from the Mizbeach all the way down to the center of the world. Yeah.
From this pasuk, it would seem that the Eibishter created the Mizbeach also.
It's not able to.
Why? It just happened to have gone through the Mizbeach. I don't.
Well, the pasuk said if the shisin were created by the Kadosh Baruch Hu, then everything before it was the same creator.
I hear. Maybe. Okay, maybe. But we know the Mizbeach was made by humans, not by Hashem.
That's what I'm asking. It doesn't seem congruous.
Right. Yeah. Fine. Okay, so Tanya, Amr Rebbe Elazar bar Tzadok, Lul Katan Haya Bein Kem. Now, Rebbe Elazar bar Tzadok disagrees with this shita that we're talking about. So Amr Rebbe Elazar bar Tzadok, Lul Katan Haya Bein Kevesh Mizbeach. There was a small area in between the ramp to the Mizbeach, but Maravi Shal Kevesh on the west side of the ramp, right? The Achas l'shivim shana pirchei kahuna yardun l'sham, and every 70 years the young kids, like pirchei of the Kohanim, went under, in between the space between the ramp of the Mizbeach and the Mizbeach. Right? From all the pictures, it doesn't really show, like you have this long ramp and then the Mizbeach. There was a space between the ramp and the Mizbeach that the Kohen had to jump over in order, not jump, but step over in order to get onto the Mizbeach. So, but all the wine, according to this shita, all the wine went down into there. And every 70 years, the kids went in there, and obviously the wine got solidified, which we had. Remember, we had yayin korush about using that for schach, yayin korush for schach. Right, which looked like cakes of figs. Right, and then they would take, so basically they would go and clear out all the congealed wine from the last 70 years that got stuck down there, and then they picked it up and then they would go burn it. And they would burn it b'kedusha, meaning they couldn't just burn it at home; they had to burn it in the Beis Hamikdash. Right, in the kodesh, he poured it into the kodesh, nesech sheichel Hashem. And it would be something has sheikha, is beer, that it's sort of like for Hashem. It's a type of drink that makes you drunk, and it's for Hashem, which means what? Kashem shenisucha b'kedusha. Same way you have to pour the wine b'kedusha on Tamid Beis now. Kachsrei paza b'kedusha. So too, when they're burning these extra wine from all the years before, you have to burn it. My mashma. So how do you know? Where do you get this from? From this pasuk that you have to burn it b'kedusha. So Ravina Asi Kodesh Kodesh. It says Kodesh Kodesh. Ksiv hachaba Kodesh Asech Nesech. It says here, you're doing, you're pouring, sorry, Kodesh Asech Nesech. You pour yayin nesech in Kodesh. And you burn the noise of Eish. Don't eat it because it's Kodesh. So what does that tell you? So that tells you that's Kodesh. They're just like noiser has to be burnt in the Beis Hamikdash, so too this extra wine has to be burnt in the Beis Hamikdash. Whatever it is, this opinion clearly holds that the wine, the shisin, don't go down to the middle of the earth, right? It goes right there under the Mizbeach. So clearly there's a Machlokes whether what we all did on with all the Gemara that we did on Amud Aleph, whether it goes down to the to the middle of the earth, to the depths of the earth, whether that applies or not. Yeah, fine. So then we say, come on, Oslo. The Gemara asks, how the Tanya, this we learned in the Brisa, or some say it's the Tanan, Nesachim betchilas ba'alim behen. The Nesachim, right? So meila, again, meila is if somebody used something that belonged to Hektish by mistake. So you over on meila. So you got to bring a carbon, you got to pay it back plus a fifth, right? So this Nesachim, the wine, if somebody used it for his own personal benefit, he's going to be over on meila. Yardu l'shisin, but once it goes down into the shisin, ain't moilin, but you're not moil. So who is this like? So this meaning it can't be the first shita because shisin goes straight down into the middle of the earth, right? So how's anybody actually using that? So it must be it's like the second opinion who says that the wine just gets stuck somewhere under the mizbeach, right? So Leimer Rebbe Elazar bar Tzaddik, let's say it's Rebbe Elazar bar Tzaddik, di Rabbanon, because if it's a Rabbanon, hanafsulu l'tayim. Right, it goes all the way down into the time, into the depths. So when it says afilu temer rabbanon, it could even be the rabbanon but the iklit. It's where you caught it. Instead of some guy decided he's going to catch the wine before it goes down to the bottom of earth as it goes through these pipes. So then he's going to catch it. I don't know how he breaks the pipes unless it's not a pipe. It's just a half pipe. So he can. So get
it's also bano, but you can't be bio in it. Is that what we're coming out? It's also bano, but you can't
we're
do
saying
meila?
Once, right? So once it's poured, its avodas done. You can't be over on meila, which is very good. Which is the Gemara is going to say that right now. Bigadamri. Some say it was the opposite. Lemera rabbanon. Let's say this memra that there's meila is the rabbanon. It's still in its kedusha, right? So the Gemara answers no. Right? We were thinking like according to Rebbe Elazar bar Tzaddik, it's still holy, right? So he's saying no, it's not because once the mitzvah is done, there's no such thing as meila anymore. It still has kedusha, but you're not over on meila, right? So that's fine. That's that. So Amar Reish Lakish, this man now we have a gadata for the rest of the daf. So Amar Reish Lakish, Bizman shemenaskin yayin al gabi mizbeach, when they were b'menasich yayin on top of the mizbeach, and those that drink alcohol here have to. This is an important gemara here. Yeah, paikikin is shisin. What they did is they plugged up. Meaning, what happens is they would pour the wine and the water onto the mizbeach, and then it would just go out straight out through the pipes. What they did is they clogged up the pipes so that the bowl would fill up with wine, and then they would unplug it and it would all go down. Meaning, sort of what the Gemara is going to say is sort of that the Mizbeach is looked at like a mouth, and you want to drink wine in one big swallow. So too, we want the Mizbeach to also do it in one big swallow. So they plugged up the shisin to sort of like make it into a mouthful, and then they let the whole thing go down. Right? So plugging it. So what they did is they plugged it up. The kayim hashenema b'kodesh hasech nesech sheicher l'Hashem, because it says b'kodesh hasech it should be nesech sheicher l'Hashem. My masha, what are you saying? So Amar Papa, sheicher. What does it mean? Lashon shasiya. It means a lot. Sheicher is a lashon of drinking. Lashon sviya. It's a lashon of being satisfied. Lashon shikrus. It's a lashon of being drunk. Right. So meaning what it's saying is that you want to be able to drink it all at one time, and that's what satisfies you. That's what satisfies you. The Gemara makes it a little clear in the next line. So Amar Papa, Shma Minaki Sava Inish Chamra, when a person wants to absorb and be full with wine, Migraine Sava, it comes from his throat. Meaning his satisfaction comes from the food. Normally you get satisfied when it fills your stomach. Wine, and Rashi says any alcoholic thing, the satisfaction comes in the throat, right?
Mine
So therefore, what?
Well, mine afkamina or Papa
The nafkamina is how to properly drink. The nafkamina is how to
Is there
properly drink.
halachic implications?
Yeah. So that right. So very good. So on the next line, let's just see the next line. So a young Talmid Chacham who doesn't have that much wine, I guess because he doesn't have money. So if he wants to get the full satisfaction, he should drink it in like big gulps. right? He should take like big sips, and that will satisfy him, even though he doesn't have that much wine. Rava, so this is the halacha of it. Rava, akasa de birchasa, when Rava made a bracha, like a birchas hamazon, or a kiddush, and he drank a kais, igma gmui, he took big gulps, because that would satisfy him. Because in Rashi says, because of the chibur of the mitzvah, that's the way you get satisfied. So he'll enjoy it that much more if he takes big gulps. So basically what the Gemara is saying is that when you drink alcohol, the satisfaction's in drinking a lot at one time, and that makes the throat enjoy it better. I'm not a drinker. I don't know what the Olam has to say about this, but what it did help me understand is that how is it that by Kiddush on the Sidarim, you're supposed to drink, and everybody's drinking so fast because of the shiurim and all that, and even Kiddush, make sure you have a roiv revius or this and that, and it looks like a fresser. What comes out from this Gemara, that Adarabah, that's the proper way to drink wine to get satisfaction from alcoholic beverages, is to drink large amounts at one time. That is the covet. That's what he's saying here. That's the chavivus of the mitzvah. Okay, whatever the drinkers here have to say about that.
Well, I'm not a wine drinker, but I think those who drink wine, don't they take like a nice sip and swish it around in their mouth?
Parrots, those are the 5 S's of drinking wines. Come on, what's the matter with you, Parrots?
I don't know. I'm not a wine guy. I'm telling you right now, I'm not a wine guy. But
by the kaises, you're supposed to, the lechatchil is to drink the whole kais at one time.
But you're supposed to, right? So that's
from this Gemara, no?
Right, exactly. This makes it into a chashivas. It's a chashivas.
But that's not for a geschmack. That's for his reasons for the mitzvah, I thought.
No, it's for geschmack. What's wrong with the geschmack? What's wrong with that?
Because if it tastes good, you're not going to drink it that fast.
You of all people, what's wrong with a geschmack in a glass of wine?
Yeah, but I'm saying if it's a big glass of wine, you're not gulping it down. You want to enjoy the flavor.
You don't gulp it down. You drink your whole becher in the amount of time allotted to you. You lean back and you drink it. What's
Right, but I thought but when it's for Pesach, you're supposed to do it as quickly as possible, not just
quickly.
That the way I thought I remembered learning it, that you drink it quickly.
You drink it at
quickly
one time.
If you can't,
I'm not saying it's
not
quickly. It's when you drink the whole kais.
Yeah, it's not a stira. Lechatchila, you should try and drink the whole thing at once. Possible, but if you can't, then you try and drink it ASAP. Right, but that's what seems to be the chashivas. Yeah, you're right. Wine drinkers, maybe that's why the wine drinkers' parents are never satisfied. They're always drinking more because they only do it in slow. Maybe they should try drinking a little faster.
What are you saying, Akiva? Who says being? I guess who says svia means the geschmack? Maybe svia just means to be satisfied in terms of being full in when you drink, right? Because we said before, drinking wine also was a way for them to be shtelvek a meal. So maybe it's just an Indian of svia when it comes to being full, similar to food. Food is when you're in your innards, and the way to get full through drinking wine is by gulping it. So maybe the Mishnah is not talking about geschmack. Maybe this halacha is just talking about how to get full by drinking wine, and the way to get full. And because of chavivas of mitzvah, Rava Rashi says it was chavivas of mitzvah. Rava did it in a way that he could show, oh look, I'm trying to get full from drinking the wine by gulping it. Right, because I cherish the mitzvah part, not because I'm looking for the geschmack in the drinking itself.
Wasn't the wine back then more utilitarian? It wasn't. They didn't have like vintage whatever, did they?
I don't know what I have no idea. What's the difference?
No, I'm saying so. Then they're not savoring some kind of 100-year-old bottle or whatever. They're drinking because it's wine.
Well, I think they're partially drinking.
You're saying there was no Yatir Forest 2007?
I don't know. 07.
I'm saying, didn't we discuss in brachas drinking wine? It's
Didn't you learn today Lane McGill in Phoenix?
Aaron, which 07?
Yeah,
so what does
very good.
So what does it say in the Megillah?
Didn't they give Yaakov old wine? The Torah.
Right. So what are you saying?
They're saying this, so there's all types of wines. Don't say there's no only, it's all, you tell, whatever the word was, you tell it,
You said it there,
whatever.
I hear. Akiva, what were you saying?
Yeah.
We had discussed prior, and I think in Brachas, the idea that drinking wine back then was also a way to have a meal. Drinking wine was a meal in and of itself. So it could be the Indian Svi is just gotta be a meal. It's not a geschmack. The same way you need to be v'chalta savata in order to make a bracha achrayna. So according to some, you also need you also so the way he was yaitse, his svia of drinking wine was by gulping it. Otherwise, it's not the ikar svia. There's nothing to do with geschmack. I think maybe we're touching up svia wrong.
So I don't know if that, okay. So maybe Taka. That's the
I'm
way
saying
you,
Rashi says because he was mitzvah.
Right.
So maybe he's talking about the union of drinking wine to be yaitse svia.
The way Akiva's saying it would make a big nafkamina in bracha achrayna.
I agree, 100%.
Right. Wine drinkers today would not be able to make a bracha achrayna.
I do think the idea of svia does it is the way I'm saying legabe food. We don't say it's the gulping. We say it's getting full. It's not the gulping.
Well, that's what we say today.
Your mole kresa. It's getting full. The actual being full. Right. I'm saying legabe wine. Maybe it's a little different.
It seems to be. That's what I'm saying here.
Maybe where you were the stretch out.
Yeah.
Also, how do you learn it from the pasuk? The pasuk isn't talking about. Rav is saying that sheikher means they svia. The pasuk is talking about mizbeach. There's no svia of the mizbeach. It happens to me. That's what the word means. That's what he's saying.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, so let's see weiter. So Toras Rava. Right, my desiv, my yafu. Now we're just darshaning this because it's similar. Shirashina was on Amud Aleph, so we're darshaning here too. My yafu pamayach ben nanayim bas nediv. How beautiful are your steps in shoes? Bas nediv, daughter of nediv means like chashuvim. My yafu pamay seyan shel Yisrael. How beautiful are the steps of Klal Yisrael? B'shasha oilin l'regel, when they go up to regel and they have to walk. Bas nediv, and the bas nediv means bito shel Avram Avinu shenikra nediv. The daughter of Avinu is called a nediv. Shenemar nedive ham nesafu amalekei Avraham. Right, it's the nedive of the am that are gathered. The am of Elekei Avraham, Elekei Avraham v'lo Elekei Yitzchak v'Yaakov. It means it's only Elekei Avraham and not the Hashem of Yitzchak v'Yaakov. Elekei Avraham shayitchila legeirim. Avram was the first of all the geirim. Right, so therefore. That's the Nedivei Am, that's considered, it goes with Avram. Fine. So Tana Dvei Rav Anan, I Siv Chamuke Yirei Chayich, that your yerech, how do you call it? Your thighs are hidden. Right? Lama Nimshal Divrei Torah Ki Yerech. How come the Torah is compared to thighs? Lama Lach Ma Yerech B'Seisa, just like the thighs are hidden after Divrei Torah B'Seisa. Torah also has to be hidden. Right, meaning, so Rashi brings that you're not supposed to darshan, too much in public. It's supposed to be hidden. Let's see how that goes. He told you what says good and what does Hashem want for you. Right, like this is coming up. Isn't this supposed to be coming up soon? Right? So I think your phone was trying to say,
to be Miramus.
That's not my phone. My phone never is on ring. My phone is never on ring.
This is
anyway.
Song of the Daf. We're back to one.
That's true. Right? So what does Hashem want from you? You should go hidden with Hashem. Asais mishpat. What does it mean to do mishpat? Zuadin. That's make sure that everybody gets the proper din. Vavas chesed, zu gemilas chasadim. That's gemilas chesed. That's taking out a mace and achnosas kala l'chuppah. What does that do with atznei aleches? Right? So v'aloi dvarim kal v'chaymer, it's a kal v'chaymer. Ma dvarim shedarkan lasim v'fahesia. Things that are done in open, like a chasana and a levaya. Everybody sees it. Everybody goes there. Amra Torah atznei aleches. So if somebody's paying for it or helping arrange it, it still should be hidden. Dvarim shedakan lasois and pitzina alachas kama kama. So anything that's supposed to be done pitzina, like regular tzedaka, for sure it should be done hidden. Okay, so then you have to have a shaila though. From this is okay. So where's the heter to start writing that you donated this and this amount of money and plaques and for shuls and all that type of stuff? So there, the heter is basically because if you put the name, so then maybe it'll inspire other people. It'll inspire other people to.
Isn't that why they started adding all the names to the invitations? The grandparents, the other ones, isn't that the solicitation to help pay for the wedding?
That could be, but that solicitation was done before, I think, no. But anyways, the point is that tzedakah should be given hidden, right? Yeah, fine. So Amar Rabbi Lazar, Gadol Ha'isa tzedakah yosemi kol karbonos. If you give tzedakah, that's greater than all karbonos. Shenemar, which is pretty interesting thing because that means everybody wants to.
I mean, Tzviakov, I guess it's a good thing Zevi's not on tonight. That's all.
He's probably out collecting. Be a good day to collect.
It happens to be. I think they're bringing a plaque to somebody tonight. They had up his appointment. He told me, so it worked out perfectly.
There you go. So
we're trying to be at Snail Echas. What are you doing here?
It wasn't the plaque. Wasn't for me.
I hear. I'm just saying. Now we know a little more information.
Okay, Akiva. So you got the plaque. Very nice.
Yeah.
Look what you did to me.
Yeah. So. So fine. So, but that's what it is. So if you want to bring karbonos, give tzedakah, because it says shenem asay tzedakah mishpat nivchar l'Hashem mizevach. Doing tzedakah and mishpat is more choice to Hashem than a carbon. Doing chesed is even more chashav than tzedakah. Shenemar zaru lechem letzedakah v'kitzru lefi chesed. Right, plant for tzedakah and gather for chesed. Im adam zereya safek eichel safek ein eichel. If a person plows, it's a safek, meaning when you plow, you have no idea if you're going to be successful or not. Right? Safek eichel safek ein eichel. Maybe something's going to happen. Maybe animals are going to get to it. Maybe it won't grow properly. Adam kaitzer vaday eichel. But somebody who's kaitzer, he's for sure going to eat. So meaning you might give tzedakah, you have no idea, is the honey going to end up using it? Maybe he's going to lose it. Maybe this, maybe that. But if you do chesed, right? Meaning you cross somebody the street, you cross them the street. You did the chesed. It's instant gratification, as they call it. Fine. Tzedakah, you only get paid back for it according to how much chesed you put into it. Right? Meaning, so Rashi says, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was a little behind. What exactly is stuck if it's not Gemilas Chesadim?
That's also, but Gemilas Chesadim means you're doing it with your own guf as opposed to doing just money. That's all. It is Gemilas Chesed. But
I just finished learning the Kedushin with Simcha now. That's what they started. Boy Bishlucha. What's Boy Bishlucha? It's a mitzvah, Yoser Boy Bishlucha. Same thing. You're giving tzedakah, similar. You give tzedakah, you can write the check, but to make the food for Shabbos is
right. You work on it. Right.
Chesed doesn't have to be with money. Chesed could be a good word, could be a nice thing, but it doesn't have to be with money.
Right, 100%.
Maskin. I was just pointing out that Gemilas Chesed here means not money. Stuck is also Gemilas Chesadim.
Chesed could be driving to a Vard yesterday in Baltimore, today to a wedding in Lakewood. Right? I guess that costs too, though. That costs too. Gas, tolls, whatever. But anyway, so V'amar Rabbi Lazar, ain't tzedakah mishalemes ela fi chesed sheba. You get paid back for giving tzedakah according to how much chesed you put into it. Shenemar zaru lechem tzedakah v'kitzu lefi chesed. It's going to be going according to your chesed. Meaning, you could just write a check, like Parrot said, or you can actually get into it, get involved, figure out a way to do it, figure out how to help, etc., etc. Fine. Torah about them. There's 3 things that Gemilas Chesed is even more than tzedakah. Tzedakah is with your mammon. Gemilas Chesadim bein begufay bein b'money. There you go, Gersh. Right? Gemilas Chesed could be side with your money, side with your body. Tzedakah la'aniyim. Tzedakah is only la'aniyim. Gemilas Chesadim is bein la'aniyim, bein la'ashirim. Gemilas chesed is for aniyim and ashirim. Tzedaka l'chaim. Tzedaka goes for live people. Gemilas chasadim could be bein l'chaim, bein l'mesim, right? You can do a chesed for a mace, taking care of him, taking care of the mace for the kvura, or going to be menachem avel, etc., etc. And it's interesting because Gemilas chasadim, there's a mitzvah to lend. There's a mitzvah to lend people money, even the wealthy. Even the wealthy, it's a mitzvah to lend. Not only just to poor people, it's to help people make businesses also.
Is it? Can't you do tzedaka l'mace also by giving money for a burial? I'm saying, what is the Gemara saying? Tzedaka can only be l'chaim.
Yes, I was wondering that because I guess it's not considered tzedaka. Meaning
I'm
the
asking,
mace is
that,
the mace.
It's not considered tzedaka. That's considered.
It's considered tzedaka.
Is that, or maybe that's just considered gemilas chasadim at that point?
That's what I think.
Because he's never going to pay you back.
Right. Yeah. And a chanami, but that's a different thing. That's called chesed. That's chesed shel emes, right? Because you're never going to get paid back for that. At least not in this, face to face or physically in this world.
The benefit of the money goes to the Yarshim anyway. Mace doesn't benefit from the money you paid to the kever. The Yarshim benefit from that money. The stock of the money went to the Yarshim.
No, but let's say there's nobody. But let's say there's nobody to pay for it. So then how's he gonna get buried? He's benefiting. The mace is benefiting from being buried.
There's a chiyuv to bury him. You can't not bury him.
Well, it's true, but the
only person that benefits from the money is the Irish.
Bottom line is, if everybody abandons him and doesn't take care of it, so then I think that's what Akiva's asking. You are Lamaisa. You are giving to the
burial is Gemilas chasadim. The money that goes from it is for the Yarshim. They couldn't afford it. They benefited from the tzedaka.
You're talking about all these charity campaigns that happens after somebody passes away.
Let's say there are no Yarshim.
No, that's for the Yarshim. That's for the Yarshim. Let's
say there are no Yarshim.
I know a case
we're talking about a ger.
when people paid for the burial.
Yeah. A lot of times they pay for the burial, but is that considered tzedaka to Mason or not? Seems like from the Gemara, that's what Kiva's asking. Seems like from the Gemara, that's not tzedaka for Mason. Why is that not tzedaka for Mason?
It's a proper kvura, saying sometimes they're getting cremated, sometimes this, and they raise money.
So you're agreeing with Akiva?
Yeah. Saying why wouldn't it be the mace?
Yes, I don't know.
I don't understand the point. I don't understand.
You don't understand the point.
Why?
Why can't the
money doesn't go with him. He doesn't get any benefit. That's not.
Yeah, yes, he does.
It's gulf. We're talking about the proper coverage for his gulf.
He's benefiting that. Otherwise,
the money he gets no benefit from. The kvura he gets a benefit from.
But you need the money.
What?
Listen, when you give money to a chasana, you're not getting benefit. You're getting benefit that you're able to put the stuff on the table. It's not that you're getting benefit. What does that mean?
What?
I give somebody tzedaka to go buy a suit for Yom Tov. You're saying that doesn't count?
You bought him
not
a
getting
suit.
the money? Exactly. So you bought him a caver. You bought him a this.
He's alive. He gets benefit from the suit. The goof. The guy who's dead gets no physical pleasure.
Why don't you just dump someone's body? So why don't you just dump someone's body anywhere? There has to be proper coverage for it.
That's covered up. What do you do? There's no money involved in
Each
that.
person has its own coverage. I don't think it ends.
Somebody has to give Gershon. Somebody has to give $2,000 to the funeral home and $2,000 to the cemetery, or you can't bury the guy. What are you talking about?
I must be missing something. I don't know how a dead person benefits from money.
Because he still has a goof. That's right now. He has a goof that has to be buried.
So if I put a carrot in his mouth, is that stuck also? He's eating a carrot now?
No, because
he's dead. He gets no benefit from money, from anything physical. There's no benefit.
So you don't have to bury him? Is that what you're saying? You don't have to bury him?
No.
Just leave him there?
How does he get benefit?
So why do we bury? Why?
Bury him in carrots.
You said you have to bury a yid. What? Wow.
So why do we stop at cremation?
What?
Why do we stop at cremation?
Because the Torah says bury, not burn. There's a difference.
But
they're both 4-letter words and begin with B.
So who's the chi of chal, on the mace or on you? That's in essence what we're fighting.
There's nothing to do with the base at all.
There's even a Machlokes about Moshe Rabbeinu whether he buried himself or Hakadosh Baruch Hu buried him.
All right, let's finish it. We can continue the Machlokes after. Let's finish it.
Which sheikh is exactly which sheikh is?
Okay, it's good. Let's invite. Yeah, Baba Rabbi Lazar. Kol ha'isa tzedaka u'mishpat ki'ilu mile kol ha'olam kulei chesed. However, does tzedaka u'mishpat, it's as if he filled up the whole world with chesed. Shenemar ayiv tzedaka u'mishpat chesed Hashem mala haaretz. Shema timer kol ha'ba likva its kaifetz. So you would think that somebody who wants to jump, meaning you want to jump, like we say, like they like to say nowadays, that everybody wants instant gratification. They don't want to work hard to get what they need to do, right? Meaning you want to do chesed, and chesed is the greatest thing in the world. So the chesed, you decide, okay, today I'm making New Year's resolution. I'm going to be about chesed, and then the chesed opportunity is just going to come running at you. No, right? How chashuv is your kindness? Right, meaning it's not, you have to have mazel in doing chesed too. Meaning you don't just think that you're going to have opportunity to do chesed. You have to have schusim in order for chesed to come your way, and on the flip side, if the chesed does come your way, then don't pass up on it, because they don't necessarily come around whenever you want.
Rabbi Pear is very fond
saying?
of saying that. He says nowadays, especially, it's like there's so many, different like organizations that the opportunities to do chesed are much smaller now.
That's
Rabbi. He's very into saying that.
Who says this?
I think I heard this from Rabbi Pear. He said the opportunities to do chesed are even smaller nowadays. So you should always jump.
Right, it's 100%. It's true. You're right. It's true. Yeah. So then you say Yochel Af Yirah Shemayim. So you think also, okay, so if I can't get Chesed so easy, maybe I can't get Yirah Shemayim so easy either. No, that you could. Chesed Hashem me'olam ba'ad olam al yireyo. Right? It's me'olam. It's forever and forever on those that have Yirah Shemayim. Right? So the Yirah Shemayim is more than Chesed. Okay. So Amar Rav Papa Kol Adam sheyesh shalav chen. If you see somebody who has chen, I don't know how you type chen. Chen is that's what if there's an ugly girl in Shidduchim, she has chen, right?
Anyway.
Yeah. What is it called? Chen is she's charming.
Charm.
Reb Tzviako, I'll pass that message along to the next idea that comes to me.
What if they say she has good mitos? What does that mean?
Akiva, we have your back. Akiva.
I'll tell him my Rav told me this. What can I say?
100%.
You need a girl with a lot of chen.
There you go.
I'm just saying. I'm just going to quote. I'm not even going to say it from me.
100%, but the chen, but it comes along with Yirah Shemayim though, Akiva. So that's might be worth the trade-off, right?
I'll have the Yirah Shemayim. She could keep that.
Okay, so yeah, Amar Rav Chaim Rabba Kol Adam sheyesh alav chen b'yadu shu Yirah Shemayim shenemer Chesed Hashem me'olam v'arolam al yireyav. Fine. V'amar Rabbi Lazar my dichsiv pia pascha b'chachma v'sayras Chesed al Hashem. You see, mamish, it's a tzustel for shidduchim, right? Pia pascha b'chachma. Right, so this is from Eishes Chayil for those that would not. Parrot's song of the daf, yeah. So she opens up her mouth with chachma, and Torah's chesed is al l'shoyna. B'chiyesh Torah shel chesed, b'yesh Torah she'ena shel chesed. Is there Torah that's chesed and Torah that's not chesed? El Torah l'shma zui Torah shel chesed. If you're learning l'shma, it's Torah shel chesed. Shaloi l'shma zui Torah she'ena shel chesed. If it's shaloi l'shma, it's not chesed, right? The way I understand this is that, and I think guys that are learning yeshiva don't chap this, you're learning not for yourself. You're learning for Klal Yisrael's sake, not for your sake, right? Say, I got to learn. No. Sometimes you have to go help somebody else. You got to go help somebody else learn. Just because you're learning. We're learning for Klal. If you're learning Lishma, you're learning because Hashem wants it, right? Not because of your knowledge, because Klal Yisrael needs everybody to be learning. That's Torah Lishma. The meila, that's Torah's Chesed, because you're doing Chesed for Klal Yisrael by learning. If you're doing it for your own intellectual pursuit and not necessarily for the Klal, so then that's not a Torah's Chesed. That's the way I understand it. Igadamri, Torah zu, Torah, the lambda, zuhi Torah shel chesed. If you're learning Torah in order to have knowledge to teach other people, then that's Torah's chesed. Shaloi lambda, but if you just want your own knowledge, you don't want to share that knowledge, zuhi Torah she'ena shel chesed. That's considered Torah. That's not chesed. Right? Okay, so we'll stop here. Sorry for the delay, and hopefully tomorrow night will be Bez Hashem, back to normal schedule. Naftali Landon. All right.
Thank you very much.
All right.
8:45 or
You got
9?
a second?
Do I have a second? I'm in the middle of my nephew's wedding.
1 second. What's normal schedule?
8:45 or 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock?
9:45. You said normal schedule. 9:45.
Normal summer schedule. 8:45. 8:45.
What the hell?
Very good.
What is that
Very
normal
good.
schedule?
Landau, you showed up twice the whole summer.
Exactly. Because
Because it's too early for
You don't get a vote.
Ooh.
You're proving your point. I showed up 2 times when it was 8:45. I've showed up every other time when it was 9 or 9:45.
You didn't show up when it was 9 either. Let's call a spade here.
Listen, much better than 8:45.
1 second. Let me get the popcorn out. Hold on. This is getting good.
Find it out.
The two Naftali's going at it. Look at this. Come on.
Ridiculous.
You guys are getting old. After one round, you guys are both done. Come on.
Yeah, I'm out of breath.
They just had enough of the Gemara about Gemilas Chesed.
Come on.
By the way,
go.
Gershon, a mace gets benefit from being buried. We bury fast because the mace is in pain.
Exactly.
Okay, so a mace gets
Do you
benefit.
know? Whoa! Do you know what that means? I'm
I
not
wasn't
sure that
dead yet.
anyone here knows what that means.
Good, but that's what it's brought down. That it's in pain.
But
I
you
don't know
can't
what
say
kind of
there's no
pain,
connection.
and it
You
gets
can't
benefit.
say.
You can't move on. It gets benefit. You can't say it doesn't get benefit. We rush to bury a mace because it gets benefit.
Is that a benefit? So the faster it gets to the din hagadol is a benefit. Who's to say what's a benefit?
That's what the
The
halacha
body
says.
is decaying.
Halacha says bury. It doesn't say because it benefits the mace.
It says the mace is in pain.
Halacha says that? Where? Show me. There's no halacha that says that.
It says the mace is in pain. The mace is in
What
pain.
says that?
Yaakov, can I
That
call
has
you?
nothing to do with the halacha.
It's Yaakov.
Well,
Just a
The
quick
mace
point.
is in pain.
you're on mute.
What do you want to say? Yitzi Sunday,
What?
go ahead. You've been quiet
there's
for a
a-
while.
Yeah, I've been catching up. The Marshal says, going back to the big gulps that we were talking about with the yayin, he says the opposite pshat. I didn't go through the whole thing, but he says a pshat with the smaller sips are you get more hana from it. You taste it more, you get more. He says a pshat like that.
So how does he understand the Gemara then?
I didn't go through the whole piece yet. I just went through it quickly, but he does say some sort of pshat like that. I didn't see the whole thing. He ties it in. He says, and Rava was nana from it by drinking a lot of sips instead of a couple of big gulps. So for all the wine people out there, there's a pshat like that.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check it out. All right.
So
Fine.
could
You guys can continue your fight over here, but and Elio clearly doesn't care. Elio clearly doesn't care that I said I'm in the middle of my nephew's wedding. He still wants to call me now.
Well, no, I don't want to call you now. I don't mind asking you now. I just need clarity on this Shiloh.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait,
go ahead.
I've seen you at weddings. You don't want to go inside. I've seen you at weddings. Okay? He's doing you a favor.
Okay, so is she
I can't say Naftali's so wrong.
Only reason Sia came to a wedding because the Rebbe came.
You see, Naftali, I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna milk it for. I'm gonna needle Elio to make him crazy, and I'm gonna listen and not go to one like this.
Right.
I'm nene mamish.
And make it like he's making it hard for you. I got it.
Correct, and I just hope I don't go to Gehenna for all this. All right, go ahead.
So is she telling this lady she can go to the mikvah or not?
You said you don't go with the. I don't know who's doing the conservative. Some conservative conversions are okay.
Reform. It's reform. Oh, it is?
Okay, so then Pashtus is that it's not. Pashtus is not a good one, but I don't know. Maybe there's a reform rabbi who's religious that does the. I don't know.
What she's gonna say? It's Rabbi Sally. What's the difference? I don't know.
Okay, so then
to be a kosher conversion, doesn't the person have to be from?
Why is she going to the mikvah?
My wife asked her. She said that she wants to keep Toras HaMishpacha.
Okay, so why shouldn't she go to a whether she's legitimately Jewish or not? But on the side that she is, why shouldn't she go to a kosher mikveh?
Okay,
She doesn't make a tummy?
I never knew that we even have a suffix on reform conversions.
I have no idea. I don't know enough about it. You should try and find out who did the conversion, and maybe if there's some legitimacy to it. I always thought that there are some Reform rabbis who are Orthodox. I don't know.
Reb David says that. But he says
My
not so many
understanding was that
anymore.
if the person
Not so many.
isn't from, then the conversion's no good. A friend of mine's mom converted, and then he became a Baal Tshuva, and then she became a Baal Tshuva, and she had to do it again because she wasn't from after the first one. And she was told that meant it was puzzle.
Okay, obviously, is she from or is she not from?
No, but I'm saying she converted, but they were conservative. So no Shabbos, no real kashrus. But then once she became interested in Yiddishkeit and actually became from, that she had to convert again because the first one was puzzle because she wasn't Shomer Torah and mitzvos after doing it the first time.
I hear. So I don't know. Is this
That's
lady
something
Shomer
else.
Elio?
No,
Is this-
I don't think she's Shimer or anything. I mean, it didn't sound like that from what she told my wife.
I hear.
We get these. Like people like they hear about Toras and Mishpacha and then they like spiritual, all the stuff you like.
All the Kabbalah.
Yeah.
Okay, and she make a bracha like she whatever.
If she's not Jewish, who cares if she makes a roll of Atala?
Okay.
No. But no,
Fine,
I don't know. Try and find out if she's taka. If the problem is, that's not the issue. The issue is she gonna say, you see that the Jews recognize my reform conversion? That's more of an issue, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's for a policy. That's a policy issue. You got to speak with the rabbis over there. It's not a halachic.
So
I mean, it
from a
is
halachic perspective, you don't have an issue with her.
What should be wrong? So let's say she's a guy, so she uses the mikveh. Who cares?
I don't know.
No,
Actually,
the
that's all I'm
problem.
asking.
No. The other thing is the problem is yes, acknowledging that maybe she thinks they think I'm religious. That might be an issue. Yeah.
Okay, so what am I doing?
I think you should ask the rabbi of the shul what you should do.
So I know we're being recorded, but that's a cop out. Yeah.
It's not a cop out. I don't know enough about the reform. I don't know enough about the reform. What do you call it? Conversions.
Okay.
Well, like you said, what's the negative of letting her do it?
Nephew's wedding to hear that it's a cop out.
Iggy, what's the negative of letting her do it? What's he saying? What's the negative? It's not like he makes a tummy.
We don't allow Goyim to go to the mikveh.
But apparently, she's talking about Toras Mishpacha. She has some sense of not being Goy, right?
I can tell you stories, Naftali. Yeah.
Oh, really? I'd like to hear those.
But not while we're being recorded.
What are you worried about, Elio? What do you think they're gonna do? Come after you?
Who's gonna? Yeah, no. I honestly, I just don't want Goyim running around saying that they're announcing that they're going to the mikveh. It's bad.